All right, welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to get into a variety of topics, but this first topic we're going to talk about a screenshot or a comment that I got actually sent about end of month or Tesla deals. And it looks like one of you out there, one of you that watched the channel, got a pretty slick deal that included option credit. We'll talk about what that means, a 10,000 supercharging miles, and it was not on a Model S or X, but it was actually on a Model Y. So I want to talk about it. I want to highlight it out there because I want to make sure everybody knows all the different tips and tricks out there on how to get the best deal on the Tesla, and of course also at the best financing rate. So shout out to the user, or shout out to the person that posted the comment. So we'll talk about it. But before we get into any of that and all the different topics, let's roll that intro real quick. All right, so thanks for watching another stream. Thanks for watching another video. My name is Dennis, and I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on a Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link, where you can get the best buying guide for buying a Tesla to get the best deal and also really good financing rates. Definitely check it out. Patreon link down in the description. And shout out to my latest Patreon member, Dilip. Thanks for joining. Thanks for supporting, and let us get into this. So if you don't know, right now there is a $7,500 federal tax credit on the Model 3 and Model Y, and this essentially goes all the way into about April 18th, especially for the Model 3 standard range. And so you can see it right here at the top of the banner. You see it says $7,500 federal tax credit is anticipated to be reduced on April 18th. If you go to the Model Y side, it seems like it's going to continue to get the $7,500 federal tax credit after the 18th. So really we can be pretty safe with that. Like, if you are worried about it disappearing for the Model Y, I wouldn't cancel your order just yet. But as we promote on the channel, we talk a lot about how Tesla, like most sales organizations, work in quarterly sales fashion. We're waiting for Q1 delivery numbers right now, and that's going to give us some insight on how Tesla actually did in terms of sales and production. And it was a little quiet, right? There wasn't too many deals being promoted or promotions being promoted by the end of March or end of the first quarter. But we do know what usually happens. Tesla could throw out free supercharging miles like they did for the Model S and the Model X. They could do option credits, which I'll talk about what that actually means in a little bit. But the first place, if you are looking for a deal on any Tesla, any brand new Tesla, you can go to waitingfortesla.com. You can see I've already sorted it down to demo discounted inventory, and there's still, to this day, there is still a handful or a good amount of demo status Tesla Model Y, Tesla Model 3s out there that are brand new. You would still be the first owner. These all qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit and everything else. Like if you got state incentives, the $2,000 CVRP rebate as well. We can take a look here on the Model 3 side, and there's some pretty interesting deals here, right? $2,200. I think earlier I was on here and I saw a $3,500 discounted Tesla Model 3 wheel drive as well. So the deals are definitely there if you are interested in. So let us jump into it. I'll show you exactly what I saw. And here it is. So this was a comment. Shout out to John Toda. Take it for whatever it's worth. But this is in line because I see a lot of these different types of deals at the end of the month, end of the quarter. So I believe it. So here's the quote. So I ordered my Model Y long range in January for $52,990. Tesla said maybe April delivery, even though the app said March 28th to 31st. There was 2 Model Y Performance in inventory. Quote, I had them price it out for me and ended up being too expensive. I did not want to pay for the premium options. Quote, I was able to negotiate getting Model Y Performance for January's price, $56,990, which was the lowest price a Model Y Performance has ever been. Quote, they did a price deviation and I did not have to pay for the $1,500 for the color black. And Tesla threw in 10,000 miles of supercharger credits if I took delivery by March 30th or the 31st. Yes, 10,000 miles. And so now they have a black Tesla Model Y Performance with 3 miles on it for $56,600 took delivered today. So there's a lot of things to unpack here in this quote here, in this comment, because there's essentially 3 deals or 3 hacks that John mentioned that Tesla was able to hook them up with. And so this is what usually happens. I've seen this a lot in the past. And what happens here is if you have a Tesla order that has not been delivered yet, that's when you can use that as leverage for Tesla to try and give you a sweeter deal so that they can hit their sales number by the end of the month and end of the quarter. So the first thing I saw here was that he's got a Model Y, or they have I'm assuming it's John, right? They have a Model Y long range. They weren't able to take delivery. So he feathered out the idea to the Tesla reps, hey, like what if I got a Model Y Performance? Could you get me a deal? And so they found him a couple Model Y Performances that they were interested in selling to him. They first did a price deviation back to the old price, which is $2,000 less, down to $56,990. So that's like a refreshing of an old price. So that's like essentially a tip. That's the first tip. The second tip is they waived the cost, which is called a option credit. They waived the cost of the color of the black paint. So that's $1,500 waived. I've seen that 100% happen before in the past. I've seen that with induction rims. I've seen that with interior credit. And now they're essentially they're doing that for the color black as well, $1,500. That's the second hack here. And the third tip / hack is they also threw in 10,000 supercharger credits if he took delivery by March 30th and the 31st. So that's 3 different things that John was able to secure and get done so that Tesla could deliver his vehicle before the end of the month. So definitely a very extreme deal. At the end of the day, of course, this is just a comment on YouTube, so take it for whatever it's worth, but I certainly believe it because Tesla gets very crafty near the end of the month. We definitely saw it on the Model Ys. We saw $2,000 discounts across the board, especially on some of them that were the Model Y Performance. So I could easily see this happening at the end of the month, especially if they're trying to, like if that specific location needs that extra sale to hit whatever number, like that manager is willing to do whatever, then I could easily have seen this happening. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. You know, if you of course, this is probably not going to be replicable like right now. You do have to wait to the end of the month and also maybe even the end of the quarter, which could be a little bit ways out. But I guess my point of this and the reason why I'm making this stream or video is it doesn't hurt to ask, right? You never know what could happen. You know, definitely float it out there. See if the Tesla reps want to entice you on taking delivery ASAP, and don't be scared to like drop by your local Tesla center as well. To see if they'd be interested in securing you a vehicle, getting you to take delivery ASAP or even earlier, because we all know kind of what is going on right now. We've got the pending or looming tax credit that essentially is going until April 18th on the Model 3 standard range, but we still really don't have any clarity on the Model 3 or the Model Y on what vehicles actually will qualify. And so this is probably the best resource if you want a live look on which vehicles will qualify and which ones will. This is fueleconomy.gov, their vehicle section. And you can actually sort it down to Tesla and see this is supposed to be updated as soon as a vehicle is not eligible or even eligible. So you can see right now, Model 3 and Model Y, all variants and all versions qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit when you buy your vehicle and file for your taxes next year. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. We're going to jump into our next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description, there's a Patreon link where you can support the channel. And there's a variety of benefits, but some of them include actually scheduling a call with me. We can ask me any questions about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. And after you join the Patreon, you get a link to my buying guide, which has links to all the resources and credit unions and banks that all have interest rates lower than Tesla financing. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. And as an added bonus and benefit, I respond to all DMs or direct messages to my Patreon members in the Patreon app. So you can ask me live any questions that you have about buying your Tesla.